Hey, what's up, phone numbers? Welcome to the Mobile Roar podcast for the week of July 22nd, 2015. I'm Joe Fidua.
And I'm Chris Chavez.
And I'm Ashley King.
All right, so quick topic to start the podcast off with. Digital clutter. Last week, I have kind of a OCD issue, where I need to delete stuff off of my computer, like instantly, like after I don't need it. And sometimes that comes back to bite me in the butt. Last week, I deleted the audio from this podcast before I even edited it together.
Nice one. Nice.
Yeah. So I was just wondering, like, what is your guys' thing? Because, I see some people on their desktop is just, like, completely full of icons. Their phone home screens are just completely jam-packed with apps they've never used. What do you guys do?
About a week ago, I cleaned off my desktop, and I still had, like, Mobile Roar 92. So I had, like, from 92 to 100 to delete. There were, like, 8 files. So,
And those are big files.
yeah, they're about 300 megabytes a piece.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's nothing. I haven't even seen my desktop on my Mac in, like, I don't think ever since I bought this thing. So I just switch between Chrome, Twitter, Firefox, Skype. Like, I never
Yeah,
even look at my
that
desktop.
is true. And, like, that's basically what I use my desktop as, is just, like, a folder. I
Mhm.
don't actually ever look at it, really, but it's just used as, like, an extra folder where I keep stuff. And usually I put things on my desktop that I know I'm not going to need for a long time, and then, after a while delete it, but sometimes I just get too excited, delete stuff.
Yeah, Windows, my desktop had, like, folders and had certain things on it and stuff that I'm like, oh, this is something I'm gonna be needing soon. But on Mac, I don't know why, the desktop just doesn't feel the same. I don't really put anything on there or anything. But my recycling bin's always full. I don't ever delete that thing for maybe like once a year.
And see, that's where my problem is. Like, a lot of times I'll delete stuff, and then my next move is clear recycle bin.
What is wrong with you?
I
That's
know.
that's the whole point of the recycling. That's
Well,
why
I'm
it's
just
there.
like, why do I have all this stuff in my recycle bin? I clearly don't want it. That's why it's in there. So why don't I just get rid of it? But yeah, I need to, like,
Man.
have a week or a month before
Yeah.
I delete stuff, just to make sure I'm not going to need it.
You have no chill. You gotta chill a little bit.
All right, so let's get into the actual mobile news this week. Not a whole lot, but next week should be crazy because we've got two big events to start the week. OnePlus is on the 27th, and Motorola is on the 28th. And I think we all know what we're going to see from OnePlus, the OnePlus 2.
Did you guys see that, like, commercial film thing they put out where the guy's just, like, taking pages off a calendar waiting?
I did not want to watch
I did not.
It was 5 minutes of the most boring. I don't even know how they consider that marketing.
it. Like, I just saw the headline, like, OnePlus made a movie about the OnePlus 2 or something like that, and I was just like, that's not something that I want to watch.
It's terrible.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen it. I gotta watch it now.
It's just a guy doing, like, his morning routine, and he pulls a piece of paper off the wall that's like 19 more days until 1+2, and he has, like, this most disinterested, unsatisfied look on his face, and I'm thinking, I'd look that way too if I was waiting for the 1+2.
Man, I have high hopes, and I try not to get caught up in the hype and stuff. But
I don't have high hopes.
I'm like, I feel like I'm wishing for the best, but at the same time, it's like I kind of know.
Did you guys see the render today? Or the leak image?
Yeah, from the TNAA or something. It's like the Chinese version of the FCC. They posted some photos. They're always leaking stuff. They have, those people, they don't care. But yeah, they posted
nice.
some photos. It looks cool.
Home button.
The home button bugs the shiznit out of me. I feel like it only works for Samsung devices because I'm so used to it. And then when it comes on anything else, it just looks so.
I don't even think it works then. Like, I don't like physical home buttons.
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, and don't even get me started on the Samsung home button because it's just the way it protrudes, and I'm always pressing it in my skinny jeans. It's annoying. But I feel like someone should try a different shape. Maybe like a cool, like, I don't know, try like play around with it. Everyone just puts a stupid circle, oval home button thing on there. But If it's anything like HTC, it actually probably won't act like a home button. It's probably just going to be for the fingerprint scanner, like exclusively. But of course, I guess we'll have to see. But otherwise, it looks cool. It looks like last year's OnePlus. They just moved the camera module down a smidge.
It seems like slightly narrower and taller in shape.
Yeah, it does look really, and I'm not sure if that's like an optical illusion or if Tenna just like squeezed it a little bit in their like photos. And it's kind of weird. I did feel the same way about it. It does look very tall and skinny.
You were a big fan of that, like, what do they call it, sandstone or something texture, were you?
The sandstone back, yeah. I like that. It looks like it's coming back again.
Yeah. That's like a cool kind of unique thing that they have. I've never really seen that type of texture on another phone.
I mean, actually, they have them on Chinese cases. A lot of Chinese cases you get, like these generic $2 cases. You can buy them. They come in sandstone. I remember I bought it for like my old like Oppo and some of these other phones I used to have. But it's like the exact same texture. I don't know how they do it, but it's cool. It's kind of rough. Gives you good grip. Doesn't move around if you put it on your pants, like your pant leg, while you're driving around or something. It doesn't just like scoot off your legs. It's neat.
So I guess I'll just run through the specs real quick that we are rumored as of today. Snapdragon 810, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 3300 milliamp hour battery, 13 megapixel back camera, and dual SIMs. So not bad. It should be pretty good.
Yeah. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping so.
If it doesn't have a lot of software issues.
Yeah, because it's going to have that color OS, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we'll see. That'll be the 27th, so we should know more about it in next week's podcast. And then Motorola is going to be the very next day, and that will probably have a lot more just news, because I think we're probably going to see, I would expect, at least 2 devices, but probably more.
Yeah, I'm probably won't even be around on the 28th either, which is kind of weird because I have an Oppo. There's an Oppo event that we got sent this press release, and there's an Oppo event on the 28th for, I guess, I don't know if you guys watch America's Next Top Model. My girlfriend loves that show, but Oppo is the official sponsor of America's Next Top Model with Tyra Banks. Yeah, so they're going to be doing like this red carpet thing over here in LA. In Hollywood or whatever, and I got invited to that, so I already like RSVP'd and all this stuff. So that's on the same day that the Motorola event is. So like,
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're not going to have anything new there, but I get to meet Tyra Banks, which I guess is cool.
Take a selfie with Tyra Banks, so we'll make it the thumbnail on next week's podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her my best blue steel. Let's see.
Yeah. So what are we going to see from Motorola? We'll see new Moto G. That's been leaked a couple times. Probably new Moto X.
Definitely.
And maybe, if we're lucky, the next Moto 360. That one's more questionable.
I hope that they do show the Moto 360 just so I can see if they have 2 different sizes, because I really, really want a smaller size Moto 360.
I am so hyped for this thing. Like, you guys have no idea. I'm really hoping, yeah, they do have maybe 2 different form factors. If not, just like make it a lot flatter than they did last year. If they could do that, I think it would fit maybe a little better on girls' wrists. But
yeah, it does look a little chunky compared to some of the newer smartwatches, for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of smartwatches, I'm pretty much positive that I'm going to sell my Pebble.
The Pebble Time?
Yeah.
I might buy that from you. Let's talk after the podcast.
Yeah, I really miss my...
You're okay with that bezel, Joe?
I just want to try it, honestly. Like, I really was trying to get a review unit just so I could try one and not have to buy one, and that failed. So I just want to try one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm really excited about the Moto X, though, of all the devices, because I didn't get last year's, but I really liked it, and I'm kind of interested to see what they do this year, because last year the big thing was the camera was not super awesome, wasn't it?
It was decent, honestly. Like, I don't know. Lately, I feel like a lot of people they're always like, oh, the Nexus 6 has a terrible camera. I'm like, I find it pretty friggin' awesome. I think it looks great. And then the Moto X and all this stuff. But I thought the cameras were good. I took a bunch of samples back in the day. I mean, I had them. I never really complained too much. But I guess it's like you can't just have a good camera. It's got to be a great camera.
Yeah, I mean, there's really tough competition now.
Yeah, yeah. So it wasn't the best, by any means, but definitely wasn't the worst. It was good. My only problem with the Moto X last year was just the battery life, honestly. I think they had the same size battery as the Nexus 5, which I hear someone doesn't like the battery life on
Oh
that one.
yeah.
We'll save that for a little bit later in the podcast. But yeah, that was my only shortcoming was that stupid battery. If they can somehow just offer an option in Moto Maker, I mean, I guess we'll see when they announce everything, but somehow just get a bigger friggin' battery in there. I think 3,000 milliamp should be the minimum. It's
Yeah.
2015. We got a black president. We need bigger batteries.
Well, what's the Galaxy S6? What size is that?
I think it's 28. They actually went down, I think. So I think the S5 was 28, like 50, and then the new one went down to like 27 something. So they actually shrunk it a little bit, and people weren't too happy about that. But I mean, I guess they really just wanted to keep it slim. They wanted the phone to be slimmer than the iPhone 6 because Samsung's all about that iPhone complex.
The Moto G, I think, could be cool this year because there was a leak that it's going to be available in Moto Maker with some more options. Usually, like the last two, you just could buy those extra cases and swap them out, but it wasn't actually in Moto Maker.
Yeah. I actually kind of feel bad. I mean, I'm not really just, but I mean, a few months ago, I feel like I just bought my mom the Moto G, and she loves it. I mean, it's been doing pretty good. I unfortunately skimped out on her, and I got her the 8 gigabyte.
Oh no.
And now she's pretty much hating life. I feel like I did my mom dirty. I did her so dirty.
You did do your mom dirty.
I was like, well, she's a mom. Moms don't like install apps. She doesn't have Facebook. She doesn't do any of that stuff. So she hit that limit so fast. I mean, now she can't do anything without getting these critical low memory warnings, all this stuff. And I'm sitting there trying to like troubleshoot it and everything. I'm like, there's nothing I can do. I can't move any more apps to the freaking the SD card. I can't. It's a complete mess. And I'm just like,
did you get the LTE model?
No, just the regular. Because the LTE model, only comes in 8 gigabytes, and then the regular model had a 16 gigabyte. But there was like some like super duper sale at some point like earlier this year. I think it was like 150 for the Moto G. So I was like, man, 150. I can get my mom's that, and I just bought it for her, and she loved it. I mean, for the first couple of weeks, and I mean, she's not complaining. She's happy. She just has a nice phone. But this new one looks really really cool. LTE. I think
it does have LTE. I was gonna say, I hope this one has LTE right away.
IPX7 like ingress rating or whatever, so it can go up to like 1 meter in water. What is 1 meter in? I never know how big 1 meter is. What is that in feet?
It's like a little bit more than 3 feet.
Oh dang, that's not bad.
It's like a puddle, good for puddles.
Definitely was
not swimming pools.
But pretty much everything else, like the specs are the same. It's like 1 gigabyte of RAM or something, and the display is still 720p. It's got all the other good stuff. I mean, there really wasn't too much that they had to fix with the regular Moto G, and the water resistance is kind of just a bonus, and then the LTE is like, heck yeah, it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But they're still offering that friggin' 8 gigabyte. Like that's a kick in the pants, man.
It's so weird because I'm pretty sure you said that the original LTE model only came in 8 gigabytes, right?
Correct.
Okay, that's the one my wife has then, and I don't think she's ever said anything to me about running out of storage.
Really?
I know she uses lots of apps.
Interesting. This is really interesting. I wonder what my mom's got on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it sucks. I hate the whole 8 gigabyte thing. It's terrible. I don't think they should even offer that anymore. I think 16 gigs should be just like the lowest.
I think 16 is even too low. I think it should be bumped up to 32.
Yeah, 16 is I mean, that's like
it's workable.
A reasonable lowest point.
Yeah, it's workable. You can manage things, you can move stuff around, but you're not just going to be like, you're not going to hit this wall where there's absolutely nothing you can do. Like I installed everything I could install off my mom's phone, and it's just I couldn't get it. I think I brought her back to like she has like almost 1 gigabyte of free space, but she's going to hit that wall again. I think like every time you do like an update, there's all this cache that just sits in the cache, and then there's YouTube videos that buffer and all this madness, and apps are getting bigger and bigger all the time. So it's just
Because I mean, it's like last week we were talking about the iPod Touch, and the first iPod Touch I ever had was an 8 GB model, and that was years ago, and we're still sitting on 8 GB as the minimum. It's like, come on.
Yeah, the store. I'm actually really surprised. I mean, I have a One M7 that's a 64 gigabyte. The One M7 that's two plus years old, and I don't know. I mean, I bought the 64 gigabyte, and I was like, yeah, like in a couple of years, this is going to be low storage. No, it's still freaking huge.
Yeah.
I mean, we're barely starting to see like phones get that now. It's crazy.
All right, so Apple and Samsung, they have a war on SIM cards right now, apparently. Did you guys read about this?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so they're trying to get this thing where like phones would not need a physical SIM card anymore. They'd have like an eSIM, they called it, and it would allow you. It would just be built right into the phone, and it would still allow you to like instantly switch to new phones. I'm not sure how that part would actually work, but they just do not like SIM cards. I mean, Apple has been cutting down the size of the SIM card for years already.
Well,
They
like,
keep
isn't
pushing
that
it.
one of the restrictions on the size of phones when they make them is they have to have enough room for hardware, and the SIM card is one of those things that
Right.
they have to have the room for.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about this because SIM card. I mean, you have that nano SIM. That's the smallest size right now, and it's
It's
so
super tiny, yeah.
Yeah, like how much smaller could a phone actually be if they didn't have to put in that nano SIM? I don't think it would make that big of a difference.
Yeah,
For
I
Apple,
mean,
they could probably make it a few millimeters thinner.
exactly, and that's what they're going for, like for like
Yeah, like
engineers and these companies.
their whole marketing over the past years has been, oh, it's thinner than the last one, thinner than the last one, and I'm thinking, put some battery in there maybe.
Yeah, I'd like to see some research about if people actually care that the iPhone is thinner. I just don't buy it that that's like this huge thing that people are like, oh, hey, look, the new iPhone's thinner. I'm gonna get that.
Oh, look how thin it is. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like thinness, and the thinner you can make something, the better. I think it's the coolest feeling in the world to hold something I don't know why, but I always like hold these phones now, and I'm like, man, look at these old phones that were like
Yeah,
so
it feels
thick.
futuristic.
Yeah, it just feels like I'm in the future, like all this information in this tiny little slab, but I don't like the trade-offs in like battery life and all this other stuff. I think that's just not cool. Um, but I mean, I guess that's an important, I guess, little spec for them. Everyone always wants to make their phone thinner and thinner and thinner, and if they can get rid of a SIM card to do it, then that's cool. But to me, I don't know how it's going to work with swapping. This is bad. I think it's a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm
Because
with you.
as someone who has so many different phones and I'm always swapping out stuff, it's really bad. Especially like I'm on Verizon, and it's cool that I can actually just swap out a Verizon SIM card and put it in anything. I put it in my mobile hotspot. I can put it in a different phone, this and that. Um, and I don't have to contact Verizon and stuff, because that was a nightmare back in the day.
Oh
Back
my
before
gosh, that was one of the big reasons why I switched away from Verizon.
yeah,
Hated
Verizon,
that.
Sprint. It was a complete nightmare, and it was just to me, it just felt like it was a way for these carriers to kind of just like keep this iron fist and control their
Yeah.
customers. It was ridiculous, because you're like, oh, I got a new phone. Gosh, now I got to activate it, and Sprint would be like, that's going to be $35, and I'm like, what? Are you freaking serious? So even now, I mean, I don't tell Verizon when I'm swapping my SIM card out to a different phone. I just swap it on a different phone. That's it. I don't get charged no activation fees or anything like that. So this is very concerning.
It was like such a pain when I was on Verizon. I would buy a phone, not from Verizon, and then you have to still call Verizon to
Yeah.
get it activated. It's like this whole ordeal. And now with the SIM card, like I've probably switched my SIM card into 3 or 4 different phones in the last week alone, just on a whim, and it's so convenient.
Yeah, there's no. I don't think you should. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what the plan is, why they're trying to do this. If it's just to kind of make their phone smaller, or whatever. But really bad idea.
No matter what they say, it's adding, like even if it's just a simple, you go somewhere and flip a
Convenience.
switch or whatever, it's adding an extra step.
Yeah, I'm hoping like it's really scary, because it's the top. Apple, Samsung, biggest manufacturers in the entire friggin' world. But I'm hoping like this is like the FCC or whatever is gonna just slap them with like a no. This is a bad idea. Hoping.
You don't understand how it works. You just want something to happen.
Exactly.
Basically. Yeah. That is scary though. Like if you think about it, Apple and Samsung, if they really wanted to, they could like change.
If they changed it,
They
that
could
would
change
be
everything.
yeah, that would be like 90% of the smartphone market just with them alone. It's like doomsday, apocalypse,
Doomsday.
judgment day is approaching.
Apocalypse. Like the X-Men Apocalypse, dude.
Oh gosh. I should put that as my fail, but I'll say that for later.
All right, so Toshiba, who I don't even know what they do anymore. They make like Windows computers, I believe.
They do a lot. They do a lot.
Oh, do they make TVs? They make TVs, don't they?
I mean, they make TVs, they do computers, they're doing, they make the components, they make tons of components and stuff. They make camera modules for smartphones. They're like one of the big backers behind Project Ara. They're the ones supplying like the chipset for them or whatever. So they're pretty big. Pretty big.
They are doing stuff, and they are pretty big, but maybe that's an illusion because they apparently faked $1.2 billion in profit.
That's a lot of money.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
Hold on though. What do you mean by faked?
It's like book fixing stuff. So they showed that they had a 1.2 billion profit over the course of like the last few years, and that wasn't true. And of course they do that for like shareholders and stuff like that. You make people think that you're doing really well, and they weren't. So their CEO, I guess. Well, I won't say they were doing bad. They just weren't doing as good as they said they were.
Yeah.
And their CEO resigned over it. So it's kind of a crazy thing.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's Japan. Probably just like, what is that? Committed Harry Carey or something.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. And I felt like this is like, I don't know if you guys watch Sense8 on Netflix, but I'm like, this is kind of like a real life imitating art. It's kind of nuts. This is like the exact same plot that happened in there.
From what I understand about Sense8, how is this anything like that?
Oh no, there's this girl, the main like one of the Korean chick on the show. She's like her father is like the head of this big business.
Okay.
Her brother is the guy that's like.
Yeah, her brother's a big fuck up.
He's a big.
Thanks, Ashley. Now I gotta bleep the podcast.
Sorry.
Big dummy. Total douchebag on the show, but yeah.
He is though.
But instead of like the father taking the downfall because he doesn't want the company to suffer, and instead of the brother doing it because he's next, to take over, they convinced their sister to kind of like, yeah, I was the one doing it, take the fall for them. So it was crazy, yeah.
At first, when you said that, I'm like, wait, people who have emotions and feelings that the same other people have, how is this anything like that?
It's a lot like the plot to Grandma's Boy, if you think about it.
Yeah. So that's crazy. I don't think I actually have any Toshiba products, so I don't even know if they make good stuff anymore. But
they're like one of the like every time you see, pretty much any electronic device will probably have some kind of like Toshiba component in there. I think they're like one of the people. They do something for OnePlus as well. I don't know if they're doing the camera sensor or what. Yeah. So it's bad news. I'm pretty sure everybody in all these other companies was like, like flipping out.
All the other companies who are doing this currently are probably like, let's tone this back a bit.
I mean, it does make you wonder. It really, really does.
Oh yeah. I mean, stuff like this has happened in the past. It's not unusual, but it's always crazy when it does happen. All right, so speaking of crazy, Google, they know where you've been. They know where you are. This is common knowledge. But now they're making it really easy for you to see. Chris, talk about this because I know you are worried about your girlfriend looking at your phone now.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty much like a godsend if you have a crazy girlfriend or a crazy wife that likes to keep tabs on you. But the latest Google Maps update allows you, or it gives you this new option called Timeline, and it lets you see everywhere you've been and how long you've been there, And it charts it out on a map. You can see, pictures you took while you were in these places, and everything. It's pretty freaking crazy, and it's not really too new because you could do this on your web browser. It's always kind of been an option. I think it's from like Google Latitude or something back in the day, but
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy and kind of scary for some folks. But of course, it's Google, and you can opt out. You don't have to share your location and all this stuff, but then you lose out on all this
Yeah,
extra
you
fun
actually
stuff.
lose out on a lot of stuff if you do opt out of that, which
Yeah,
kind of sucks.
conveniences. It does suck, and I feel like you're gonna see this on like some Fox News or something that Google's tracking you, and here's how you can opt out and to remove your NFC from your phone and all this stupidness.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really someone who's like freaked out about this, but if I could opt out of it and not lose all the other stuff, I probably would, just because it's not something that I care about. Like, I'm never going to go into the Maps app and look at this.
Yeah.
So, like, I probably would just opt out of it because I have no use for it. But, yeah, it's kind of weird how they almost make you opt into it because you want to do all this other cool stuff.
Yeah,
But,
like everything Google does. I mean, going through your Gmail stuff. I mean, they lightly scan that stuff so you can search through your Gmail. Location sharing stuff. They know where you're at and all that. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. So people are getting freaked out about it now. It's like you got years and years of this history. Google already knows, man. So
I just feel like this is one of those things where it's so easy to make the comparison of like Google and Terminator movies.
here we go.
It's so easy.
Every time Joe's like,
No, just when you say things out of context about Google, like, it's just crazy to think about. Like what you just said, they always make you want to opt into something. Like they always give you this reason. Like you said, the Gmail thing. It's like, oh yeah, we are looking at every single email you have, but don't you want us to so that you can do this?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like that.
That's exactly what it is.
The tone, though, it's not like don't you.
No, yeah, that's not the tone, but I mean, it could easily be interpreted as that tone if you were someone who hadn't been around Google for like the last 5 years or something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just some of the things you give up, like for modern conveniences. I mean,
well, wasn't it The Verge that made like that video, that parody, whatever, about like Google and Terminator?
oh yeah, like Skynet and all that stuff.
Yeah, I thought that video was hilarious and
it's
kind of scary.
It's funny because it's kind of crazy. If
And
Google
yeah,
wanted
that's
to
the
go
video
the world,
that
they might be
I
able
think
to.
shows like it's not that far of a leap if you really wanted to go there.
Yeah, not at all. But we don't trust Google though, right? They're our friends.
Yeah, it's funny. Do either of you listen to Rooster Teeth podcast by any chance?
I don't.
They've been doing this funny thing recently where they're talking about if robots take over in the future, and they would go back through the archives of the internet and find people who've said bad things about robots and take them out. So like every time they talk about robots now on the podcast, one will be like, "Oh yeah, and I love robots. Robots are awesome."
Oh my gosh.
All right, so our last little bit of news is Sony is rolling out Android 5.1 to the Xperia Z2 and the Z3, and I think you've gotten rid of all your Sony phones, have you not, Chris?
I might have one lying around here somewhere. Did I ever sell the Z3 Compact? Sony?
Oh yeah, is the Compact getting 5.1 too?
Yep, pretty much every single Xperia phone ever.
Oh, okay.
It
Crazy.
took them long enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I think they didn't want to, like, I don't know, they didn't want to just do it to just one. They're kind of like, oh, we'll do it to all of our phones. And they're just like, yeah, everyone gets it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a cool way to do it, I guess, but the people with the most popular phones are sitting there waiting forever, so...
Yeah, I mean, you got Z3. I mean, Sony was pretty quick at getting just regular Lollipop out, so it's been a while since 5.1's been out, but, they've been tweaking some stuff and doing this and that, but, I mean, it's really crazy to think that if you buy a Sony phone, there's a very good chance that even if it's a low-end device, like the Xperia Z3 Compact is considered, I mean, like a mid-range to low-end, you're going to get the latest version of Android. That's freaking nuts. It's really nuts. I mean, you don't see that pretty much anywhere. Maybe Motorola, sometimes Samsung, but that's awesome. It's great.
All right, so before we get into our wins and fails, we have a listener question here from a live question from Lars Rye Jeppesen. Says, with the rising market cap of iOS devices, do you think an antitrust case against Apple will be likely based on the fact that no competing browser is allowed on the platform? I don't know. I mean, it's been like that since day one. You know, so I feel like if there hasn't been any issue yet, there probably won't
there's
be.
Chrome on iOS.
Well, I think what he means is like,
You can't hook things into Chrome
right.
like you can Safari.
It's like they're super limited with
It's
what they can do.
irritating every time I'm browsing something on my iPad using Chrome and have to open it in Safari because I have it thrown in an Apple crap folder that I don't give a crap about.
Yeah, and
So I have to go
because of
searching for
that,
it.
there's like a lot of apps build in browsers to their app. So like Facebook and Twitter, you click a link, it just stays in there. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird and it sucks, but it's always been like that. So I'm
it's been like that, and nobody has said a dang thing. But there's all kinds of like antitrust stuff when it comes to Google. They're always getting like hammered with stuff.
Well, I
Like
mean, Microsoft got that really bad too.
Microsoft
like,
too, like
10
all
years
these
ago,
companies.
like the EU was all over them for not having browser choice in Windows.
What the heck is Apple doing? They got like really good lobbyists or something?
Yeah, I think Apple does get away with it by the existence of Chrome on iOS. Like, I don't know what the fine print is, like, because they do have a browser. It's very limited, but they can say, well, look, there are other browsers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, even then, I think I was reading it's just like a wrapper for Safari stuff. Whatever. But
it sucks, but that's Apple's walled garden, as they used to say. All right, so let's get into our wins and fails of the week. My win of the week is a standing desk. It's called the Stir M1, and it is something that I would probably never own because it costs $3,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, I think it's just cool, the concept. It's a smart desk, so everything has to be smart nowadays. So now here's a smart standing desk.
You control it with an app?
It actually has like a touchscreen built in to the top of it for going up and down. It's really crazy, but the coolest thing about it, what makes it smart, is that, so you know how like the Apple Watch, for example, it will tell you like, hey, you need to stand up. This desk does the same thing. But it knows, but it's a lot more accurate because like it actually knows if you're sitting or standing because of the orientation of the desk. And when you need to change, it's motorized, and it will actually just go like, it will go up a little bit, just kind of like nudge you, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I guess I should stand up, and then you hit the button and it'll go up. And then when it's time to sit down again, it'll kind of like give you a little nudge and remind you to go back down and sit for a while. So that's cool because the review I read was saying like people that have those motorized desks like that IKEA one, they end up like at first when they get it, they'll go up and down a lot, but then after a while they end up just sitting all the time and using it like a regular desk. So if your desk was like actually reminding you to stand up, I think that's kind of
nagging you like a girlfriend.
I mean, you can control how often you want to be reminded and stuff like that. It's not like the Apple Watch where it thinks it knows how much you should stand. If you want to be reminded like every 45 minutes, you can do that or whatever. But I don't know. I just thought it was a cool idea.
I speaking of standing desks, I just got that IKEA one. You know how it's been sold out for like ever.
Yeah.
I guess there was some strike on the West Coast or something where it's just, they didn't have the stupid electric standing desk forever, but this weekend, I went to finally take back, because I had just the top table portion of the desk, and it was just sitting against my wall for, the past, I don't know how long. We talked about it a long time ago where I got it, and I was just waiting for the dang legs to come in, but I guess it's been sitting on the wall for so long that the table actually got like a curve to it, so
what?
I was taking it back to IKEA, and I was just like, I don't want this anymore. I just kind of gave up the idea of that whole electric standing desk thing, and they're like, well, we have the legs in. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah, we got them in. We got like 20, and I'm like, well, crap. I just got the money back on a gift card or whatever. And I went into the as-is section. Before you ever buy anything at IKEA, always go first to the as-is section, because we went into there and they had the legs there, they had the desk already assembled, half off. I got the entire thing for less than $300.
Dude, no way.
So
That's an awesome deal.
Yeah, the only problem, and this is like kind of a big deal, well, for my girlfriend, but the legs are black and then the feet are white, and it's like the stupidest, weirdest color combination.
Yeah, but you could get like spray paint and fix that.
Yeah, literally like that day, like just went to Walmart, got a can of spray paint, we're gonna spray paint it this weekend or whatever. But
I'm mad. That would match my desk actually. I have an IKEA desk that's black on top and the drawers are white. It was sweet.
Yeah, so happy, such a great deal, and I've been using it. I mean, yesterday I stood the entire day, and I'm pretty sure I burned like 5,000 calories or something.
Yeah, I really want that IKEA desk too, and I don't even know if my IKEA has an as-is section. I've never noticed that before.
It's always downstairs. It's always tucked away, like all the way far back at the end of like their little warehouse area. But you got to, yeah, I think all of them pretty much do, because it's usually stuff that's been returned, or it's display merchandise that they had out on the floor, already assembled by the IKEA team. They just like, well, we got to sell it now, and they put it in there. But I've gotten so lucky. I mean, my dining room table that I was originally going to buy brand new, they had an as is, and I was like, half off, yeah, and I just bought it there. It's like, it's great. It's like changed my life.
Nice. All right, so my fail of the week. Where's my phone? Here it is. Nexus 5. I just ran, like I said earlier about SIM cards, I've been switching my SIM in a lot of different cards lately. Just like, I don't know, had a itch to try a new device. So I switched from the G4 to the Nexus 6, and then I went back to the Nexus 5. And I am remembering why I don't use the Nexus 5 as my daily phone anymore, because battery life is just really bad. It's still really bad. Android 5.1. I mean, I unplug it at like 8 a.m. and the battery saver mode comes on like before 6 p.m. sometimes. It's horrible.
Even when you're not touching it, or is that just like light usage, or?
It's light usage. I mean, most of the day it's just sitting on the desk while I'm working.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not good at all. And I'm still just devastated by that, because otherwise I love this phone so much. But yeah, I can't use it. Battery life is terrible.
No better phone that feels better in the hand. I mean, it's great. But my battery life hasn't been that bad on Nexus 5. It's like when I'm not really light usage or letting it sit there, it lasts for frickin' ever. I don't know. Maybe it's an app. Or that could be like a million different things. But
I mean, there were people saying that. I think I talked about the Snapchat update a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, that was destroying stuff.
Yeah, that was destroying batteries. I don't know if they fixed that yet or what, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Chris, what do you got?
My win for the week is going to be the YouTube app. I'm so flippin' happy. So there is an update to the YouTube app today for Android, and it now shows full screen videos when they're shot in vertical or portrait mode, I guess. And there's a huge debate about this, and it was actually on. Its crazy part was that someone posted this on Reddit. They're like, "Oh, it's 2015. Why doesn't YouTube display full screen vertical video?"
Yeah, I saw that.
I think they do it on iOS. They do it in the little mobile web browser part, but they never did it in the Android app, and it's really annoying because I feel like there's been this like crusade against vertical videos. I mean, I think we've all seen that funny little parody video thing that they have on YouTube or whatever about not doing it. And then Google recently, I think in the Nexus stuff, their camera app, if you try to shoot in vertical, it's like it won't let you. It just tells you, please like rotate your camera to the normal way.
No, I'm pretty sure it'll let you.
I don't.
It just wants you to.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, it just reminds you. Yeah. Well, I don't have this problem against vertical video. I think just like a camera, like sometimes it's cool to shoot in portrait, sometimes it's cool to shoot in vertical, and I mean with like Snapchat you can really only shoot in vertical.
Right.
I think even if you turn it to the side, it doesn't display right, so everyone has to turn their phone. Like it's all.
Yeah, it's just weird because like you're always watching stuff in vertical, and then a landscape thing will pop up, and it'll be like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, you gotta turn your head to like look at it or something, and it's just like, and I mean that's kind of huge. I mean that's the way people are using their phones now. We don't have like our computers sure are landscape or whatever widescreen, or TVs are like that, but like most consumption when it comes to video and stuff, it's probably done on your smartphone, especially when it comes to YouTube. I mean, that's usually where you're going to be browsing videos. You're sharing stuff on Twitter. You click it on your phone. You view the YouTube. I mean, that's I mean, if Google has some kind of metrics or numbers for that, I'm sure that the majority of viewers are on smartphones and stuff. And they actually did talk about this in their Q2 earnings thing. I think it's like doubled. YouTube viewing on mobile is like doubled. It's like something insane. So I guess that's what finally pushed them. Not really this Reddit post, which was just posted like last night.
The timing was
and
crazy.
I got downvoted really crazy, and everyone's like, "We did it, Reddit again!" Like after they got Ellen Powell out, the CEO, they felt like they did it. Like it's just really a coincidence, but almost kind of funny. So people were like, maybe we should post about Hangouts now. But it's cool. It's cool, and it's like it's not full resolution, so it's you're basically what YouTube is doing now. The app is just cropping out the little black bars on the side, so you're getting lower resolution, but at least you don't have the black bars, and you can still view it vertically, which is a nice step. It's a step in the right direction. But this whole crusade against portrait video thing, I think is just ridiculous.
I used to be a member of that crusade, and
yeah, me too. I thought it was like
so
the
much
worst
anymore.
thing.
But here's my issue: people don't know how to take pictures because, like you were saying, there are certain times when a portrait works and certain times when landscape works. And like recently, a lot recently actually, I've been in group photos, and like the person taking the photo will be holding it in portrait. I'm like in group photos with a bunch of people, so you know it's a wide, and I'm just like, turn the phone. Yeah, like people don't know how to take pictures anymore.
Nobody,
I feel like
nobody wants to turn their phone ever. It's like you hold it that way. You're viewing apps that way. You're messaging people. You take a picture. Like it just, no one knows that you have to turn your thing. I almost feel like manufacturers should turn their camera sensors. Honestly, make it so that when you shoot in portrait, it's actually or in landscape. That would be like I think the best route aside from some kind of crazy sensor that always rotates no matter which way you turn it. It's always landscape. But I think that would be pretty.
Image stabilization.
Yeah, and they have an app. There's an app that's basically like that. It's like extreme image stabilization, where no matter which way you turn it, it's always going to be in that way. But if you try to like tilt your phone into portrait, it starts like zooming in on that image to keep it looking like it's in landscape. But that's awesome. It's an awesome update. I'm so happy, and I feel like we've won. And
Team Internet.
Team Internet. Even though you should have seen my friggin' comments. I was like, yeah, I do like 90% of my stuff in portrait mode. Why can't I watch videos in portrait? I got downvoted. Isn't it? I mean, it's like buried so far underneath. It's sad, and I'm like, I should delete it, but you know what? No. Out of principle, I'm leaving that comment up there. But yeah, so whatever. My fail for the week is going to be HTC revealed last week that every single smartphone that's using the Snapdragon 810, which has gotten a bad rap for overheating, whether it's the One M9 or the what else? Use it the Sony Z3. And to me, I think it's a real issue. This whole overheating, the Snapdragon 810 sucking thing.
Yeah, it was your fail last week too. It is.
Processor sucks, and I mean it's just I don't like it. I think it's stupid, and whenever I hear a phone have it, I actually like that's like negative points for me. But OnePlus, when they announced their phone, they said that we are using version 2.1 of the 810, and everyone just kind of took them, I guess, assumed and ran with it. The entire internet was just like, oh, well, they're using an updated version of the 810 that doesn't overheat, that is somehow just better than that old version that everyone else is using. And OnePlus kind of let everyone believe that. That's why they kind of said it in a way like, oh, yeah, no, this isn't that old one that you guys hate so much. This is like an improved one. So HTC's Jeff Gordon, I think he's like their product manager or whatever, and he deals with the PR for the blogs and whatnot. He contacted Qualcomm, and he found out that, dude, the One M9 is using the version 2.1. The Z3 is using version 2.1. Pretty much every existing phone out there that's using the Snapdragon 810 is using this updated version 2.1. There are no devices, consumer devices, that are out there using this old version of the Snapdragon 810. So Of course, it's no surprise. OnePlus was just, I mean, hype beasting like they always do, just blowing smoke up everyone's butts. Um, Typical OnePlus stuff. So it's not that great. So if you hate the Snapdragon 810 on all these other phones, you think it's terrible. Don't expect things to get any better for the OnePlus 2 when it launches this year.
Well, yeah, hopefully. I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but yeah, that
Yeah.
sucks. And you know what? If it does suck, I promise not to relish in the fact that OnePlus's second phone sucks.
You promised not to say I told you so.
Hey, I never said it was gonna suck yet, so maybe I should say that now, and then I could say I told you so. All right, Ashley, what do you have for us?
Mine is a concept that was posted around the internet earlier. Chris, I think you wrote it up on Fandroid. Yeah,
So hard right now.
the Nintendo Smart Boy concept phone. If you never had an early Game Boys in like the late 80s, early 90s, it was like this big beast of a brick, it was beige, and it had a really unique design, and someone took that design and made a smartphone out of it.
And it looks
amazing.
really cool.
It has a, of course this is all just concept stuff, but it has like a little controller that you can plug into it, so you actually have physical controls for your thing, for your playing platform games and stuff. That's one of the biggest complaints people have about playing mobile games is having to use the touch screen.
I will never do it. If it's a platform game, I won't even bother on my phone.
Have you ever got those little things that you can stick on the screen and like they're supposed to simulate buttons, but they fall off and you lose them?
I've seen them, but I'm like, dude, that's gonna get lost in the wash so fast. I'm not gonna carry those around.
The other neat thing about that concept is, you know how Samsung has their power saving feature where like the phone's just black and white when it gets low enough battery. I don't know how it would work in practice since this is just an idea, but their power saving mode for the Smart Boy is the 8-bit screen, the little dot matrix screen that the Game Boy had.
Yeah, so awesome. And it's like green, it's like black and green instead of like black and white. So it's like it really looks like an old school Game Boy. Like
this is one of those concepts that I saw and I was like, wow, if Nintendo was cutting edge in anything anymore.
Change the game.
People have been after them for years to make a Nintendo smartphone. Just begging.
Look at that stupid PlayStation phone. Like Sony tried this how many years ago? Nintendo has never once tried it. Come on.
Maybe they will now that they're getting into mobile though. Like they've actually committed to it. So maybe they will do a device. I don't know.
That's cool.
Shoot.
My fail for the week is there's rumors that Qualcomm's going to have to consider splitting up because of the Snapdragon S10 sales were so horrible. That kind of ties into what Chris was talking about.
I mean, Qualcomm's like they're at the top, dude. I mean, it's like every single smartphone out there is using a Qualcomm processor. I mean, there's there's the Intel stuff and MediaTek and whatnot, but like Qualcomm is like they're sitting on this like iron throne.
Yeah, they won the processor war.
Yeah, and they thought
that time when it was like Qualcomm and Nvidia going back and forth, and Qualcomm won.
Clearly won. Yeah, so they're just sitting on that iron throne made of processors, and the Snapdragon 810 has just been like this terrible thing. They're trying to do damage control and whatnot, and it's like. I feel like you don't hear too much from Snapdragon saying anything about it. I mean, Qualcomm. It's always these like manufacturers that picked up the processor, and they're always like, "It's not that bad," or "We did a software update that makes it less worse." And
less worse. That's exactly what you want to hear when you're buying a new $600 device. It's less worse than it was before.
90% less worse than it was previously. But yeah, and Qualcomm's just sitting there. I mean, they're too busy counting their money and letting the money pile up.
Just make a new processor, man.
Yeah, I mean, and they have it. I mean, right now,
S11.
It's the S20 or A20. A20 is what everyone's looking forward to. I think there's some Nexus 5 is rumored to have it later this year. But to me, I'm not that excited because I just want it to be better than the 810. The 810 has me so like ugh. when it comes to Qualcomm stuff right now. So
Is the new Moto X rumored to have the S10 or A10? Sorry.
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it was the 808, if I'm not mistaken.
So
But
they're hedging that. Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I think last time I checked, I thought it was the 808. But freaking 810.
What would you do if they announced that they have the 820 and the Moto X?
Be so pissed. Oh, the 820 in the
Yeah, the
Moto?
820.
Oh,
Like, how excited would you be about that?
Okay, that is not going to happen. But I'm 100% positive that will not happen. But that would be like people would literally poop themselves.
That would be the ultimate nerd one more thing. Be like, and one more thing, we have the Snapdragon 820.
Boom.
And all the regular people are like, what? Who cares?
That's cool, I guess. That would be weird.
All right. So let's do some app picks. My app pick is going to be Cortana for Android. Last week, APK leaked, and it's the beta. So I guess it wasn't really a leak. Like, if you sign up for the Windows Insider program, you can get the beta for Cortana for Android. And so I got it, and I tried it out. I did a video on Fandroid if you want to watch that. But it seems to be working pretty well. Everything works. Like, I signed into my old Microsoft account and from when I used Cortana on Windows Phone, and it was cool seeing like all the things that I had, all the settings I had were still there. Because the big thing with Cortana is the notebook feature, where you go in and you basically tell Cortana a bunch of stuff about yourself, and then she uses that for like recommendations and stuff like that. And it had all that stuff in there, which was just kind of neat. One thing that Cortana doesn't do that Google Now does is the conversational searching stuff. So like in Google Now, you can say, who is the president of the United States? And then it'll say Barack Obama. And then you can say, how old is he? And it'll tell you the age. You don't have to like say how old is Barack Obama because it knows you just asked. So you can't do stuff like that in Cortana. You would have to say who is the president and then how old is Barack Obama. That's not even something I use that much, but I mean that is a cool feature that you can't.
I haven't used conversational thing ever, but that seems pretty cool. I think it'd be useful if you can like train yourself to kind of speak that way and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking to try something cool, or if you like Microsoft products, I guess the big thing when Windows 10 will come out, Cortana will be on your computer too. So then maybe you would want it on your phone also. Yeah, and then it would take all that info from that too.
Right. I'm not sure how many people are going to use Cortana on their computers, because I don't know. I never ever do voice search on my computer, even though Google technically can do that.
I use it sometimes. I hate having to open a tab, go to the Google site, and then push the little microphone button. It's kind of annoying, but I do it all the time.
It never works. Every time I've ever tried it, it just does not hear me. I don't know why.
It would be cool if Windows, like the new Windows, had this little button you can press that would just activate Cortana, like boop, and then she's listening and you can talk to your computer.
I would not be surprised in the least if there was something like that, honestly. That'd be awesome. Sounds like something Microsoft would do.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got, Chris?
My app pick for the week is going to be something called Trepin Profiler. It's made by Qualcomm. So I know we talked about it in the podcast a lot about how when something's wrong with your phone or eating battery, or there's like a million different things that it could be, and it's really hard to troubleshoot or like diagnose to figure out if it's like a rogue app that's just going crazy, or I mean, who knows what. And there's a lot of, I guess, apps that will kind of monitor CPU usage. I think on Lollipop it kind of sucks now. So if you go to battery usage and you look, it's never really reporting. It's just not as good as it used to be. I don't know what it is, but the CPU usage on apps and stuff just is like totally boo-boo now. But so what Trepin does is it can show you applications that are using in real time. It'll show you what applications are using CPU, and like the percentage of it or whatever. So it'll rank them or whatever, and it's doing it in real time. So you can see like this is how I found out Snapchat was like wigging out on me because my phone out of nowhere my phone started getting really hot, and if I went into just regular old Android's Lollipop battery stats, Snapchat wasn't really showing up on there yet because it wasn't using I guess a big enough percentage of my battery or whatever. So Trepin allowed me to see that, boom, at the top, just hovering at 23% CPU usage with Snapchat just sitting there, and I was like, what in the world is going on? So that's how I was able to figure out that Snapchat was acting weird. Another big thing is, or another cool thing about Trepin is that it allows you to see which apps are using data on your phone and doing the exact same thing, so it'll rank them just like it did with CPU usage. So you can see, like, sometimes it might not be an app using your CPU that much, but it might be doing a bunch of weird stuff using data more than it should, and that's also a big battery drainer. So you could also have it monitor that and see which applications are just constantly pulling data, which I found SwiftKey does a lot for some really odd reason. They're always doing some sort of data transmission, which actually caused me to uninstall SwiftKey back a few weeks ago. So really, really cool. It's kind of weird the way it works. It's not really the most user-friendly, but because it's got all these other diagnostic tools and whatnot. But the main ones are CPU usage monitor and network activity. Those are the ones you want to do. And in order for you to even you have to profile it. So you got to click it, activate it, and let it sit there for an hour or two or however long to kind of figure out what the heck's going on with your phone. But it's an absolute godsend, especially when it happens. I don't know why it happens a lot for me, but I have so many apps installed. My phone will just get hot, and I'm not sure what the heck it is. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Why is my phone getting hot? This is like the app that kind of saved me. And a shout out to my friend Eamon. He's the one that recommended it. So yeah, Qualcomm's Trepin Profiler. It's on the Google Play Store and it's free.
That sounds like super interesting. I might have to download it.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, Ashley.
Of course I have another game for you. I'm all about games. It's called Arrow, and it's like a combination of Flappy Bird meets Snake meets Crossy Roads customization.
Okay.
It's by Ketchup, isn't it?
Uh-huh, it is.
Okay. Yeah, I love Ketchup games. This one looks cool.
It functions similarly to Flappy Bird, where you're guiding this arrow through this maze, but as you pick up pieces, you gain pieces on the back of you, kind of like Snake. And you can get gems and things, and you can unlock new arrows, I guess is what they're called. But it's a good time waster.
Does the length of your tail have a negative effect?
Yes, if your head is past something but your body still hits it, you still lose.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, so it gets difficult as you continue on.
Awesome. I'm gonna definitely play that later. And that actually reminds me, earlier today I posted top 10 most addictive Android games of 2015. I did that last year, and people really liked it, so I did another list this year, and I have a video out for it as well. Check that out. A couple of games that Ashley recommended on the podcast are on that list.
I was going to tell you, too, the guy who did Current Flow, he updated the app and added 50 new levels.
Oh, yeah. I'm all about that game. I saw that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that one's on the list. Ultraflow is the other one you recommended. That's on the list. So if you like simple, well, I guess not all of them are simple, but if you like really addictive games, time killers, be sure to go check.
Some of them start out simple and get insanely hard.
And looking at addictive games, you kind of realize what is it that makes games addictive, and that is one of the things for sure. When a game starts out super easy and you're just flying through it, and then all of a sudden it gets hard.
Yeah, you hit a wall and you're like, oh, I got to get over this.
You've beaten so many levels in a row with just one attempt, and then all of a sudden you can't do it in one attempt. It's like, well, I got to do this again. I got to beat this level. Yeah, it's crazy. The science behind addictive games. All right, so we got a couple email questions this week, and of course we'll start things off with our buddy Daquan Johnson.
Awesome.
He says, hey guys, do you have any idea about why people care so much about removable battery and SD card expansion on the next Galaxy Note? At this point, do we really need an SD card? Google has an app store, literally any file you need. And with 3 different battery models in TouchWiz, battery modes in TouchWiz, do we need to swap batteries? And then he says in all caps, and why are the Samsung Knights not doing their jobs? I am defending Samsung more than they are.
Dang.
Yeah, I think we agree with you 100%. One, phones don't really need swappable batteries and SD cards anymore. It's more of just a bonus, but it's not something you need.
Yeah, it's like
I wouldn't
it's a
have
cool
such a
thing to
problem
have.
with it if they started offering more storage space because I like
Right.
to keep a lot of music on my phone. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, I just stream my music. Well, I don't like streaming music because I only have a 2 GB plan, so
And that
I
goes
like to
back to
take
what
my
we were
music
talking
with
about,
me.
the stupid
Hmm
8 GB thing. Yeah.
hmm
Um, I don't know, like, what is the Samsung? Because the Samsung Knights, they will defend Samsung, but yeah, weren't they at first not happy with the SD card thing? Or have they kind of flipped now? Are they
Well, I
defending
mean,
that it's a good thing?
I guess
What's our update on the Samsung Knight?
the captain, I suppose, is like Richard Urel, and he posted like a comment on like every time we post something about Samsung, he posts a comment. But I guess he's not too worried about it. It sounds like he's kind of just adapted. I know that was kind of the thing that they're always touting, like their superiority over other phones was always like, oh, Samsung gives you options and gives you choice. But now that they're not, it's kind of like, oh, well, we didn't really need it anyway. So it's just, I mean, they flip flop a lot. Samsung can do no wrong. I know there is actually a rumor that the Note 5 might have a micro SD card slot, though I don't think I'd get your hopes up too much for that. I think Quentin just posted that one today, but yeah, it's not really that big an issue. I think the what really sucks is that because of the price differences between these like storage options that you get now. So now, yeah, you can get a phone that has 128 gigs, but the price difference is like an extra $200 just to have that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, and it's like I think the reason they're getting rid of micro SD card slots and all that stuff is because they can kind of price gouge the customers like this, and they make such a higher profit margin off of just like something they get for so cheap, but they can charge a whole lot for that added convenience, and you kind of feel like you have to in some regard, but it's kind of, I mean, that's probably where they're making the most money. I feel like is like, oh well, it's $100 every time you want to upgrade your freaking memory from 32 gig
Yeah.
to 64
And in
gig.
reality, it costs them probably like nothing more.
Yeah, I mean, like cents, dollar. I mean, it's
I
like
wouldn't even be surprised if they like all cost the same almost nowadays.
honestly, like, and it's been so long. I mean, we just talked about it earlier, but like we've had like these storage configurations for so long. I mean, my M7 has a 64 gigabyte version. So that just I mean, the price of memory is going down all the time, but they're still charging the same amount for it. It's because they know like we make the most money off of this, and I mean that's to me that's the real reason why they're kind of holding back so much and they charge so much for all this extra memory, and they're getting rid of SD cards because like we don't want people to do it themselves. We want to give it to them, sell it to them at this huge premium.
All right, so our last question is from Beast. He says, I'm not a Samsung Knight, but I am a fan of the work since the S3, and he says he's a former HTC user. With most of the OEMs turning to metal and glass and away from plastic, what does that do for the durability of these devices that we depend on for at least 1 to 2 years at a time? Will we see any more waterproof devices in the future outside of Sony? And then he asks, what do we do to protect our devices, because he's not a fan of cases.
Oh, that's ballsy. Oh man.
So, I mean, the first part of his question is metal and glass better than plastic for long-term durability?
Definitely not at all.
I don't know. I think it shows wear more. Like you'll see
Definitely.
a lot more scratches and stuff.
Dents,
Um,
scratches, nicks.
I think it is more durable though in general.
I feel like plastic is tried and true. I mean, I don't know. It's like if you drop it, it kind of just like bounces back. It's not, you know.
I'll rank it metal, plastic, glass.
Yeah, I
Glass
would
is,
never want to have another glass phone ever again.
glass is the worst. But really, like, and I couldn't figure out, like, it was bothering me for so long. Like, why the heck would Samsung choose glass? But I mean, it's because of it's like conductive properties, whatever. It's you can still use wireless charging with glass, and you can't really do it with metal. That they kind of okay, we'll do a glass back. And they could do plastic, but everyone is so, always ragging on Samsung for using plastics. It's just like they were like, no, that's not an option.
The thing about
Glass.
it though, there are so like plastic is such a broad term. There are so many different types of plastic.
Oh yeah.
The plastic, like remember those Nokia Lumi phones that had that awesome?
Yeah.
Those were still technically plastic, and yet they just felt amazing because it was a different type of plastic. Samsung used a really cheap feeling plastic.
Oh
They could
yeah,
have
they
used
did.
a more premium plastic, like the G4. That plastic on the back of the G4 feels really nice.
Yeah, I mean HTC's been doing plastic for a long time. I mean it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how you use it and how you do it, and I mean there's ways to make it look metal, and people will not know the difference. There's ways
Yeah.
to make it look cheap. There's ways. I mean, Samsung was pretty cool. I mean, with like their older phones, they kind of put like a pearl luminescence in there, and they would try to like make it more like a car almost, but it was just. It was really just not working out so hot. But yeah, it's just I think Samsung's implementation that was there. But durability, I think the metal's cool, but I'd actually rather have a plastic phone than a metal one. TBH.
Next part of the question is, do we think we'll see more waterproof devices in the future? And I'm assuming he's not talking about like active versions, but like actual flagship phones. And I think we totally will. You can already start seeing that happen.
It's gonna be the next thing, I think. The next little feature.
And then lastly, what do we do to protect our devices? Are we case users? I'm not really.
Yeah.
I use a case, but it's a feather case, one of those Incipio feather cases.
Yeah, and those are just like almost just scratch protection, really.
Yeah, it's not actual super damage.
It grips the phone around the edges and
those
the corners.
are the only cases I ever use are the super thin ones.
Yep, that's what I have on my phones too. That's about it.
Other than that, I mean, I used to use screen protectors, but I don't really do that anymore either.
I definitely do because I don't know what it is, but I always get scratches on my screens, no matter what. If I don't get one, but
keep pocket sand.
I don't know what. Yeah, there's no way. I wash my clothes all the time. I think it's. I don't know. Maybe my hands are really dry, and it's just.
I don't know. That's weird. I haven't scratched a phone screen in several years.
You probably do. You just don't realize it. But I have these special eyes, so like I see.
Special eyes.
I synced it, but when I go out, the thing is I only use protection when I go out. I don't actually. If I'm home, I take my phone out of the case. But as soon as I leave the door, I snap a little case on it, and I'm out.
That is true. Sometimes if I know I'm going to be doing something, I will slap a case on.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's going to wrap things up. We are over an hour already. Did not anticipate have this much to talk about. So if you want to send us an email, you can do that with our address podcast@mobileroar.com. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast on Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and anywhere else. You can follow the podcast on Twitter @MobileRoarCast. And you can follow us on Twitter. Chris is @GamerCore, Ashley is @OverlordRoar, and I am @TallSchmo. And we will see you guys next week with, I'm sure, just tons of mobile news. Later.